first of all, thank you for taking the time from your busy lives to be here. Today, we are organizing a webinar where you have the opportunity to find out more about the experience of our students in the Global Flex Online MBA. So just a brief introduction. My name is Alina. I am the recruiter for the Global Flex Online MBA, and I will be your host for today. And I do have my colleague Inka. She's also a recruiter for the full-time MBA, and she will be helping out with the chat. So during the session, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. There are no wrong questions, and we are here to support in any way. And just a quick note, please use the Q&A chat box because it's easier for us to keep track of all the questions and answer them at the end. A bit about how the meeting will go today. We will give you a bit more insights about MSM and the Global Flex, but the majority of the time will be spent to get to know our students. So we have Christy and Muhammad, and they will have the opportunity to introduce themselves and answer some questions about the Global Flex Online MBA. And at the end, we will have the Q&A. A bit of general information about MSM. It's one of the oldest schools in the Netherlands, and it's part of Maastricht University. It also has a Triple Crown accreditation, which is quite an international accreditation. 1% of business schools worldwide have this honor. And our main focus is sustainability, innovation, and digital transformation. Mainly, we are trying to keep up with the market trends at the moment and add that in our courses as much as possible. We do have an extensive alumni network, so we like to say that if we go anywhere in the world, we have a couch to sleep on. So mainly because also the classes are quite diverse. We have quite a lot of different nationality, a very good mix. Also for the Global Flex Online MBA, but also for the full-time programs and other programs that we have at MSM. We generally offer general programs, so an MBA, Master in Management, Executive PhD, and short courses. But there is the possibility to specialize in a certain field that you want. So especially with the MBA program, we will talk a bit later about the specializations as well. Some key facts about the Global Flex Online MBA. It takes around 2 years to 2 years and a half to finish the program. Of course, if you need more time, you can extend it up to 4 years, meaning you have 2 years of courses part-time, and then you have half a year to focus on your thesis. And we have 3 intakes. So the next one is in January, and the application deadline is 15th of November for the January intake. And then we have the main intake September and in 2025. The format is mainly Zoom-based, so we have sessions Monday and Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Dutch time. So you have 4 hours of contact with, to basically be in the classroom, and then you can allocate extra hours to also study. So how it works, it's good to already prepare for the classes, because during the class you will get a chance to discuss certain case studies and share your experience. So we try to keep it as practical as possible. So then there are some extra study hours during the week. Each week is different. It really depends per course and per person and per schedule, how everybody allocates that time. We have an online platform that supports you in your learning as well. And it also depends if you have an individual assignment or not, because when you have an assignment, then it might become a bit more busy. I was mentioning earlier the expertise tracks. We have some quite different expertise tracks, and most of them are taught in on campus. So this is something you also need to think about before enrolling in the program. You will get the opportunity to be on campus, but taking 2 weeks apart from your families and busy lives is always something that needs a lot of planning. So that is something that you need to think about. Um, but we also have one option of expertise track uh, online as well. So in case you really can't make it, then you can go online. But we always recommend you to be on campus, because you will get the opportunity to network not only with your colleagues from the classroom, but also with your colleagues from the full-time MBA. We also have partners in other countries like China and Kuwait and Romania, Hungary. So then you will get a chance to meet a lot of different people. And that is something that, when you go for an online MBA, it's also very important to have that networking opportunity. So good to think about. We do have, when it comes to the classroom, we do have quite a diverse classroom when it comes to backgrounds, but and career profiles, but also countries, nationalities, and country of residence. So this is just a bit of more information about how the classroom looks like. Average age is 33, and then average years of work experience is 10. Then we do have around 14 nationalities, but a lot of our students actually live in the Netherlands or in countries that are in a good time zone to do this program. We have a good mix between male, female in the classroom, and our students come from very diverse backgrounds, like engineering. Mainly when they study engineering or they work in engineering, and then they need that those business skills, or sales, marketing. A lot of them have been promoted to a general management role, or are aspiring for a general management role, or have started a business or want to start a business. So it really depends per person and per profile. I was mentioning the teaching method. We do have a case-based learning methodology, meaning that we are trying as much as possible to avoid things like tests and exams, and we are trying to bring to the classroom a lot of group discussion and collaboration. Of course, it depends per discipline, but for as much as possible, we are trying to facilitate that. And during we have case study assignment and individual assignments during the one course, and you can actually become the consultant of your company, taking real life examples from your company and applying them in your case study assignments and individual assignments and so on. So it's all quite practical, and at the end of the day, you need to be able to apply what you learned in the classroom. That's the main point of even doing an MBA. When it comes to the tuition fees, the tuition fee is 28,500 euros, and then we do have up to 20% scholarship opportunities. We even added certain scholarship this year. So for example, the technology and innovation scholarship, also healthcare or creative industry scholarship. Also, we have the excellence in versatility. These are just examples because we did notice we get a lot of different profile and exceptional candidates, not only with academic, great academic background, but also with great professional background, but also amazing skills. So we want to find a way to reward that for as much as possible. If you have any questions about this, just send me your CV and we can have a call and we can see which ones are the best options for you. And now, the more the non-commercial, interesting part of the webinar, we will be focusing a bit about on our students. We have Christy today and Muhammad. We are Thank you both for joining today and supporting us in this webinar. I will invite you one by one to give a short introduction, and then we will move on to the questions. So mainly who you are, where you come from, and what is your current position. Christy, do you want to go first?
Sure. Thanks, Selena, and welcome everyone. So I'm Christy Fenimore. I recently started my own business while doing my MBA. And I am the founder and CEO of Kintsugi Solutions, which is a consulting business. And I come originally from South Africa, but have been living in the Netherlands since 2016.
Thank you so much, Christy. And Muhammad.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. This is Mohammed. Originally from Pakistan, I came in Netherlands back in 2011. So it's been almost 14 years. The intention to come to Netherlands was to study. So I completed my bachelor's in electrical engineering. And afterwards, I'm working here within Johnson and Johnson. Have been having great opportunities to grow within different departments. And currently, I am leading the upstream business operations primary recovery within the innovative medicine plant based in Leiden, the Netherlands. And while I am doing this, I'm also pursuing my MBA. And that's all I have to say for now.
All right. Thank you so much. The first question is, why did you choose the Global Flex Online MBA? What exactly convinced you about the program? And maybe Christy can go next.
Okay. So I actually, to be quite honest, looked at 4 different MBAs. I won't say which they are. They were all online. What made this really nice was, number one, there are great scholarships available. So just to be honest, the price might shock you, but the ability to get a scholarship makes it a lot easy. And the second one was that the interview was really nice. You actually get to speak. I spoke to Alina. So, and I just had a really good chat, and it felt like home. It felt like these are people that actually, well, they understand students, they understand people, they care. And that's super important when you are doing your MBA, because you're going to have to lean on them a lot. So that was pretty much for me what convinced me that this was more human than the rest of them.
Thank you so much, Christy. Muhammad.
Yeah. So for me, a couple of factors, and as Christy just mentioned, I was also looking into options, what were available, and I also must be honest, the financial side here, with regards to what you must pay, is really welcoming if you compare with the other entities on the similar level, right? Maastricht is a very renowned name, so that was also helping. If you do your and just some specific researches, you will always find them. So that is one. Also, I was able to connect with some of the alumni. I have a big network here where I work within J&J, and when I connected with some mentors here, they all were really backing this up. So that of course helped. The financial element really helped. That was number two. Number three, that's more on the personal side, is that I did my education from Eindhoven, so Maastricht was anyway close by, and this city had some some kind of significance in my life. Whenever I used to go to Maastricht, I always felt like this is so nice, so calm, so historical, and I would always, somewhere in the back of my mind, I had this, if may I have an opportunity ever in my life, I would do something around this. So when I was thinking of starting my MBA, this was also an enabler, right? Like, okay, go for this. So these would be the three main items for me.
Great. That was very clear. Um, it's nice to see that it's never the same reason. So yeah, everybody does its own research, and then they need to decide in what which if this program is actually the right fit for them. Uh, we do not think that this program is like for everybody and in the world. So it's good that you look at the practicalities, you get in touch with even the recruiters, you talk to alumni, you see what makes sense for you and if this is the right choice in the end. All right. Thank you so much. And let's move on to the next question. So, you've been in the program for about a year. Can you tell us about what exactly did you learn in the program that you could apply in your day-to-day job?
Okay, I'll go. I'll go first. We'll
Yeah.
just keep it in this order.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of things. I must say everything is pretty much applicable to my job. There's some aspect of each subject that we've done that has touched my job in some way or the other. And also, what I can honestly say, because I'm an agile senior transformation coach from Unilever and now starting my own business, that leadership consulting type of style was evident within a lot of our courses. And you also see that the lecturers are super smart. They know a lot. They have a lot of knowledge to share. And you might find it quite nice to sit in class and also just listen to their knowledge. And you can always ask them anything. They're pretty open to any question. They also ask a lot of questions, which makes you think. So for me, I would say it's the ability to start to look into everything a little bit more of curiosity, ask the right questions, ask deeper questions. What economic impact does this have? Or what leadership impact will this have? What would this mean in the future for change? So I'm no longer just thinking in my field. I feel like this has broadened my horizons into areas that I previously might not have questioned before. So there's a lot of impact. And also I find it's impacted the way that I am at home and with my family. I've been told that apparently now I spend a lot more attention on my newspaper than I used to, but I do read a lot more now than I used to, and you will read a lot, so I hope you do love reading. Yeah. You, Mom.
Oh, thank you, Christy. Okay, Muhammad.
So, as Christy has mentioned, this MBA is indeed helping us to broaden our horizon, right? It is on an individual level, it is helping me to think more on the strategical advancements. Because if you really look into sometimes when you work for operations, you have a tendency to really look into the base business, the day-to-days, right? But if you want to make impact, you have to think tactical and strategic. And MBA has helped me to broaden this horizon, right? For instance, to give you an example, it's quite often that I have to go through changes on big levels, even on small levels. And because it's so much happening, you just go with the flow. But we have already been gone through this change management course, which was such an eye opener from very, very different angles. We could learn some different aspects and impacts, and I was able to use one of the practical, ways of how it can be done. And that I felt, I mean, it's still a change, so it did not go all smoothly, but I felt that I was more in peace and I was more in control with regards to what can I expect and what others would have expected. So we could focus more on the why behind what is happening. So that I think I can use as an example. The other example I can take also on an individual level is one of the course have been the leadership, really on the leadership. and how can you improve. I think that as part of the program, we were asked to create a development plan, which I am actually following up pretty closely. And I think that without talking too much on it, that has also been helping me with regards to how I can be more receptive to the feedback and what I can actually do to think from more of an setup than thinking from an upset level. So, thinking it differently, more positively. And of course, these things help you in the end to also balance your work life, even though MBA takes more hours. But at the other hand, it also helps to think more structurally. Let's say it like this.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing. We can move on to the next question. So this is a bit more about work-life balance because MBA can be quite demanding. And then you have your professional life, you have your family and the other responsibilities. So, and I know both of you do have a lot of those responsibilities. So how do you make it work? How do you balance that? And maybe Muhammad, maybe we can switch around and you can start.
I just actually close with the how do I find the balance. So it's a good how do we say enabler. So what I would say is that first of all, this is not something that comes ad hoc. That the fact that I want to go MBA, it did not just go like this with me. That okay, it's the time to do it. It was already in my mind. It was going. It was coming through, and I have had spoken with a couple of people. I think important here is that the people that are really important in your life, I think that's your family, it's your, of course, your work and those specific social elements that are part of it. It's important that, they are aware of it, that this is coming, and you seek help and support from them. So it was very clear when I made my mind that I have to go through that I would also get supported by these elements that I just mentioned. So if we talk from the family perspective, my wife has been very supportive, right? In the end, it also helps that effectively it's the classes that you have to take is Mondays and Thursdays, 2 hours each, so you can balance it, right? And if you cannot balance it, the university and the colleagues are flexible to allow that you are not able to make it. That's one. But with regards to the other things, it's good to be disciplined, I would say. It's good to have expectations clear with the family that, okay, it's not only the classes, but there is this work to do. There are assignments to make that time would be needed. That is one that of course helps to have clear expectations and to seek that support, right? That's very, very important. Then I do not know from the people who are here, but people who are actually working, it is very important that your direct supervisor or manager is fully aware about this, that they are supporting you on this development as part of your career development as well. Link it, try to hook things together to make more out of it. It's very clear. Sometimes I just use the hours from my work to focus on my MBA. That is something that, again, it comes back to expectations, make it clear, make it tangible, make it documented, right? And use it. Otherwise, with my job that is there, which is so demanding, it can become very difficult. So for those of you who are working, that is definitely an advice that I would offer you. Make it part of your development plan, right? And make it the best for both the employer and the employee. Something like that. All of us have to do thesis as well, right? So see to it that you'll find something within your company that you can make as part of project, and you finish the project or you make some progress, but you also drive your thesis and deliver it. So that is the way how I would do. In the end, to conclude, it's really managing expectations and being highly disciplined.
Mm.
That's all.
Thank you so much, Muhammad. Indeed, a good communication is always important, especially with your classmates, with your family at work, because this needs to fit into your life. Your schedule changes a lot, so then that's good to organize. But what do you do when you are self-employed and you are following an MBA, Christy?
That is a good question. So I'm also a mom. I have 2 children, and they're quite young, so they still need me a lot. And I think it's I don't want to be, placing sexist comments or anything, but I do think kids at a very young age lean on their moms so much. So it is difficult to fight them off away from the computer screen, and sometimes you do see them pop by because they're curious. So what I do is I kind of have a schedule for them. I'm like, on these nights when mommy's really busy, you can watch YouTube. And yes, I'm not a big fan of YouTube all the time, but I think it's important that people do go ahead and do that. But the other part of me, which is the working part, is I have clients who often want to talk to me whenever they want to talk. So, and like Mohammed said, just be totally transparent, and also set the expectation right. But when it comes to a strategy I take to help me balance everything, when you have a lot of things on your plate, it's important to ask yourself, what is priority now? So right now, what is priority number one? For instance, I'm in this meeting. I tell my family and everyone else, I will not be doing other things. I won't go to the school. I won't go to other things. I'm here. And be fully present when you're there. There's nothing worse than saying I'm going to be somewhere and you're not fully present. So that's a strategy I will advise everyone. If you're working on your thesis, you might not have plenty of hours, but be fully there and work on that thesis or work on that project for that 2 hours. If that's all you have, then use it. And use it thoroughly. So just tell people in advance, I'm going to go into the zone. I'll be out of here. But I will be back and you will be back fully. But it is also a commitment, like Mohammed said. So don't be under the delusional and think it's not going to be hard work. It is a lot of work, but you can manage. You can do it. I think anyone can do an MBA, but it will take commitment. It will take your effort. But yeah, it's different for everyone, but that's my strategy.
Thank you so much for the valuable insights. We can move on to the next question. So how we have a lot of students in the classroom from different backgrounds, nationalities. How do you find the diversity of the peers?
I think it's pretty diverse. Right? We're all over the place. I think couple of us are not even sitting in the Netherlands, right? So
Yeah.
joining in from all over the places, and the beauty of this is that usually when you are in group sessions where you are discussing things and deep diving into stuff, that's where it really comes. Those cultural elements are coming into the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Specific stuff that is really linked to the environment they are from is coming. Their experiences that they share. I think we're very open with each other, so we share a lot of stuff. And in terms of how do we say the class itself, I think the administration or management of MSM have done a good job to balance it, right? So I see diversity, I see a lot of equity as well. And I think as a class, we're also very inclusive. So it's a good DEI element overall that is there.
Absolutely. I agree. I think we have a great class, and I hope for future students that you also have a very fun, diverse class and just embrace it. I personally just love all the accents, and whenever I hear someone talk, I'm like, wow, I did not pronounce this, but it is so cool to hear. And it sounds exotic. I just love it. And I live in the Netherlands. I've heard the Dutch accent a lot, but I like listening to other people, and they views are so different, like wildly different sometimes. But I think I've been, and I'm going to use the term Unileverized, and probably Mohammed, you've been Johnson & Johnsonized, and we have a specific mindset. And when you come out of there and you come into the classroom, it's like, wow, I feel like I lived in a box. So I really do like it. I think it's great. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. You touched upon one very important topic that it's quite interesting and exciting to work with people from other cultures, but it's also challenging.
Yeah.
So when you are in a group, discussion, then everybody comes in from their framework with a different perspective. So then you need to find ways to navigate through that,
Yeah. That's
especially online.
true. Yeah. And sometimes
Yeah.
you also have to kind of know when to back down, right? when you shouldn't be making a point. I had to learn that a few times. Like, just tell me to shut up at some point. Because but it was nice because they did it in a very nice way. They're like, okay, and this is also important. So yeah, I got the message. So yeah, nice.
Great. Okay. We were talking about collaboration in the classroom. So how do you find the interactivity? How interactive do you think it is for you? Do you want the interaction to be higher, lower, and does it help your learning experience?
Yeah, I think it depends on a person itself, right? I
Mm.
think our professors so far, apart from one, have been pretty um, going with the flow, right? So I think one thing what we can expect is that if you raise your hand, if you want to say something, you will get your chance. It's a no-brainer. It's going to happen. And that is very attentive from the professor's side that they want to hear, and they will give the time to either answer or make it at a discussion point, right? So I can say it for all the lessons so far. And then of course it depends on the professor and I think us as a person on how much we want to contribute and connect and stuff like that, which is very much possible and happening. Sometimes there are a lot of group discussions, so we have this oh my God, I'm forgetting this. What is this when you are out in those groups? In this
Breakout rooms.
Breakout.
yeah, we have a lot of breakout rooms. So that, of course, that is quite some interaction that is happening between the students. What you see is that the professors will be coming every now and then inside, hear you out, give you some perspectives, and leave. That's what I like, right? I want to be given some perspectives and to be led to think myself on how to go further and stuff like that. That's the mentoring, that the level that I expect, and that I really like. And there are also professors then who would really pick you up, put you on the spot, and then ask you stuff and all from the perspective of wanting to help you and stuff like that. Nothing against you.
Mm.
So I think overall quite good from my experience side.
Yeah, I
Nice.
agree. I think for me, the interactivity, um, doing projects together, you know, and I know I'm going to sound probably quite horrible saying this. I actually sometimes I am more interactive, sometimes less, depending on my mental capacity for my day. And I think I like that some of the participants they actually know, okay, Chrissy looks a bit tired today, or this person looks tired, and we just kind of we manage the energies a little bit, and it's nice because we are all working people. So it's not that you are doing all the work, you know, like some kind of school project where you have 3 people on your team and 2 of them decide to not even participate and you're doing everything. It's nothing like that. It's actually, for the first time, I'm happy to do a group effort because I felt like it was actually a group interactivity. And the experience so far, I think, is for me quite nice interactiveness. You know, you have quiet people, you have talkative people, and I think some of the lecturers actually bring out the quiet people a bit more to the forefront and say, hey, I haven't heard from you, say something. And I like that because it gives them a voice, because maybe they didn't feel like they were part of the conversation, but it's very inclusive. So always you will be asked to speak, and you will also listen and hear things and be able to interact with other people, and you can chat, which I do a lot on the chat on Zoom. So I'm always curious, like, how was your week, how have you been? So it's I will eventually do more of that because I love it, but I'm just curious of everyone's lives all the time. So
Yeah, so that's very good point, mainly because the experience has a flexibility to make it your own. Like you can be as active as you like, and we always encourage our students to participate as much as possible, share their experience, their ideas, questions, and then you also get more out of the session. And if you mix it up a bit with getting to know your colleagues a bit, then that's a plus indeed. All right, then let's see what the next question is. So, what advice would you give to someone considering to join the Global Flex Online MBA? Then maybe Christy, you can go next.
It's a tough one. What advice would I give to someone? I think the only advice I could give you is if you feel this is the right fit, follow your gut feeling. I did go to a few of these interviews to MBAs, and this one felt right. It just felt like the right time, the right kind of personal approach and interactive approach that I wanted. And I was looking for something which was a good balance between interaction online and that I didn't have to study by myself all the time, but also where I can focus and work on my own because I like working on my own. It feels wrong saying that. I do like working in groups, obviously, but a lot of the time my base work comes from first focus and then share and then get collaboration. So that's the way that I know I work. It has not changed since I was 5. So it probably won't change now at 39. But I think it's just do it. There is no good or bad time for anything. It's the same as kids and marriage, basically. There's no good or bad time for it. It just happens. You'll know. You'll know.
All right. Thank you so much, Christy. And Muhammad.
Yeah, I am fully aligned with what Christy has mentioned, and I would just say that, guys, if you are even considering this and you want to join this, do not forget to have fun. It's very, very important, right? Because see, it has its space, this program, and a lot of other things are going on at the same time. Sometimes you feel overwhelmed, which is completely okay. It's part of being a human, right? So it's good to keep up with the humor and continue having fun as well, right? And I went with my gut feeling. I felt the time was right. I got the support. And yeah, the other advice is make sure you have that support. If you don't find that support, that would be a problem, especially if you're married, you have kids, you have jobs. It's gonna be difficult if that support is not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I think we are done with the questions. So if you have, and I'm looking at the participants right now, if you have any questions for Christy and Muhammad, please add the questions in the chat. A fun fact is that if you do enroll in the program, we do have like this carousel kind of system, and you will actually join the current class for a few courses. So you will get a chance to also study alongside Christy and Muhammad, and maybe ask them more questions about their professional experience, expertise, and so on. So we will move on right now to the Q&As, but and see what questions we have from the audience. And I will just quickly check what happened in the chat box and in the Q&As. Okay, so we have one from Yusuf. It's mainly about if there is a possibility to get a working permit in the Netherlands after graduating from an online program. That is mainly possible with a full-time MBA. So when you go for a full-time MBA in the Netherlands, normally you can get a student visa And then after you graduate, you get an orientation year permit, and you can find a job in the Netherlands with after your student visa. With the online MBA, it's mainly remote, so you can log in from anywhere. So a visa is not it's not required and or arranged in this case. All right. Also, I got a message about scholarships. If we can explain that again, we can go maybe a bit to the scholarship part. So basically, you do have like a cap of scholarships of 20%, but you can actually apply to as many scholarships as you are qualified for. So depending on your background. So we have the percentage scholarships that can add up to 20%, but we also have like a more of limited scholarships like the academic excellence, women's ambassadorship, and versatility one. And then you get an 8,000 euros discount. And so it's either 8,000 euros or maximum, or the 20%, which is kind of around the same amount. So sorry. So then it's very important that you apply to the right scholarships for you. So then you need to see, okay, what was my GPA, for example, in certain studies. The academic excellence is only merit-based. It can be awarded on GPA or a good GMAT score, or maybe you did a PhD. So then there are multiple criteria that we look for in your profile. Make sure to add all the extra elements and the information in your CV as well, so we can match that. And then you might have worked in an NGO or a public institution, then you can apply for the public service. Maybe you had a project that had to do with sustainability, so then you can apply for this one. Maybe you or your family has a business, so entrepreneurship family one, and so on. So we will send you after this session, we will send you more information about the scholarships, and my contact will be there. So if you send me your CV, we can advise in what scholarship is the right fit for you. Another question, what happens if you miss one class? Good one. Uh, Basically, you can miss up to 2 classes per course. Ideally, you don't miss the classes, but of course, life happens, you travel, you have an emergency. So if you contact your lecturer on time, then it's perfectly fine. And then you have the online platform and your classmates that can help you with notes and additional information. And then we have one in the Q&A from Clement. How exam and evaluations are done? Basically, you have one course lasts for 1 month, and in the middle of the course, you have a case study assignment, and that will be 30% of your grade. And at the end of the course, you have an individual assignment where you have a chance to practice everything you learned during the course, and that is 70% of your grade. And then they add it up, and that is a bit how it's listed. So the main evaluations for the grade are done through the assignments, but you do have additional activities that are non-graded in the online platform, and then you can test your knowledge. So it really depends on how active you are with the online platform. Ideally, you go through the modules, you also do the activities and so on. Okay. And then let me just quickly check.
Probably good to know that the exams aren't exams, they are project-based for as in you'll have assignments, not exams where you actually sit and physically write an exam. Yeah.
Yes, very good point. We don't have, let's say, normal exams and then you can actually apply any you can write your case study assignment or individual assignment on a company. It can be the company you're for, or your company, or a company you want to work for, and just take a problem, that you want to solve, and then apply it in that particular field. All right. I think we are quite done with our questions for now. We will share this presentation, the presentation and the recording afterwards. Before we go, I would like to thank Christy and Muhammad once more for sharing their valuable experience. It was lovely to have you here today. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah,
Thanks,
I
Alina.
wish everybody a very great, nice day. Sorry, Christy.
No, it's good. I was just saying thank you, Alina, for inviting us.
Thank you, Alina.
Definitely. Great. Then have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.